Welcome to the Kayak Bass Connection podcast. So I'm your host, Jared, back for another edition. We are proud to be the official podcast of the Southern Illinois Kayak Club Bass Tournament Trail. So I've made no secret that I first started this podcast for two reasons. Number one, I wanted to learn from the winners that were beating me during these tournaments on how they were winning. And secondly, just to get to know people more that are in the Southern Illinois Kayak Club and just kind of in the kayak community, a kayak fishing community at large. So I've done a good job at getting to know more people. The social aspect of the podcast is one of the things I've enjoyed the most. But I found that I've become so tied up in engineering the podcast and getting those interviews done that I really haven't sitting down myself and taken a hard look at what should I be learning that I should transfer on the water to help myself. So I really struggled in the 2025 season, and I know that in 2026 I want to take some positive steps to make sure that my performance is better. So I decided, you know what, I need to take a step back before we move forward in the new year, and take a step back by looking at those interviews that I've done, kind of summarizing, these are the lessons that I should be putting on the water to myself. So I thought I'd just do a podcast on this topic and bring those to the audience as well. We've been very open about all different techniques and everything else on this podcast. Is not about holding fishing secrets. It's about making everybody better. So here's what I did, and I made myself a little list. I like to journal, I like to make notes to myself. I said, what do I want to know out of all of these interviews we've done? There was 17 different tournaments that we've interviewed, usually first, second, and third place after the tournament. So in 17 different tournaments since July of 2023, what do I really want to know, summarize from all these winning anglers? And here's what I came up with is that I wanted to know who the most dominant anglers were. I wanted to know why they were the most dominant anglers during that time period. You know, as well as, hey, what baits were they using? What was the most popular baits that these winning anglers are using? And you know what? I also just wanted to know a little bit about the mental game, because that's something that does fascinate me. And what about the community portion of the Southern Illinois Kayak Club? I know that has been a big emphasis by our former director Josh Lincoln, is to make sure we have a good community around the kayak club, and everybody treats each other with respect and friendship. So, hey, what I asked, what can I get out of all of these podcasts? So, instead of sitting down and watching them all again, I use an artificial intelligence tool, and I asked those questions, and asked it to produce a video summary for me. A video that shows me in a short story, what can we learn from 17 different tournaments, uh, from the first, second, and third place finishers. So the video that got produced is really entertaining. I think you're going to enjoy it, especially the graphics in it. The facts that are in the video are 99% true. I think that you'll find out that if you watch it, you'll get a good laugh at us in the video as well. So tell me how you enjoyed the video, and leave some comments below and tell me what you took away from this summary.
All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're prying open the tackle box and the playbook of some truly elite kayak bass anglers. We're going to break down the tools, the strategies, and, the mindset that really separates the winners from everyone else. We're going to find out what it actually takes to get that win.
And this is where it all starts. It's that raw, unfiltered, pure emotion of hitting a personal best. You're hearing Susie Rolla right in the moment she realizes she's just broken the 100-inch barrier at Cedar Lake. That is pure adrenaline, and it's what drives every single angler in this sport.
And this is the number that did it. In these tournaments, it's not about weight. It's all about the total length of your 5 biggest fish. And let me tell you, breaking that 100-inch mark, that's like the holy grail. It's only been done twice in this club's entire history. So yeah, this isn't just a weekend hobby. This is a seriously high-stakes game.
So that really gets us to the big question, right? When you have a whole club full of seriously skilled anglers, what's the actual difference maker? Is it the gear? Is it some secret strategy? Is it all in their head? Or is it something else completely? Well, we're about to break it all down, piece by piece.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the arsenal.
We dug through a ton of tournament recaps and interviews to figure out what the winners are actually throwing, and it turns out it's really less about finding one single magic lure and a lot more about mastering the right tool for the right job.
And you know what? The data couldn't be clear. When you look at what the tournament winners mention, the chatterbait is the undisputed king. It's not even close. The guys who are consistently at the top, guys like Darren Hemker and the Angler of the Year, Dalton Williams, they lean on this thing heavily. It's just so versatile, so effective, and apparently bass just can't stand it. But it's not just about what they throw. It's about why. A chatterbait is money on those windy, grassy points because that vibration just triggers a bass to bite. A jig, well, that's more methodical. You use it to slowly pick apart submerged logs and stumps. And that last part about the buzzbait, that's pure psychology. An angler loses a giant fish on one, and suddenly he's convinced it's the only thing he should be throwing all day, trying to get that one bite back. But here's the real kicker when it comes to lures. You just can't be a one-trick pony. The Angler of the Year, Dalton Williams, is the perfect example. His best finishes all came on totally different baits. A crankbait one day, a frog the next, then a jig. So versatility isn't just, a nice bonus. It's absolutely essential if you want to be successful day in and day out. So you've got the right lures. Awesome. But where in the world do you throw them? That's where we get into on-the-water strategy. This is the real chess match of kayak fishing. This is where the mental game truly kicks in.
Now, when it comes to getting ready for a tournament, we're seeing two main approaches. First, you've got the scout, like Susie Rolla. She actually went out and pre-fished Cedar Lake, found a solid pattern in some weed pockets, and then just executed it perfectly for that massive 100-inch day. Then you've got the historian, like Darren Hemker. He often skips pre-fishing altogether and just relies on his years and years of knowledge about certain spots. Both ways can clearly get you on the podium. But no matter how you prepare, on tournament day, it's all about hitting those high-percentage areas. The winners are consistently looking for edges and transitions, those grassy pockets, submerged logs, and points where the wind is churning up the water. At Cedar Lake, the winning formula was super specific. Find grass in your steep bluff walls. And if you could find bluegills spawning in those same areas, man, that was the absolute key to getting the biggest fish to bite.
You can have the perfect lure and the perfect game plan, but these tournaments, they are long, grueling days. How you handle the pressure, how you deal with those inevitable slow periods, that's often what separates first place from 10th.
So, what happens when your plan just falls apart? Well, the pros have a playbook for that too. First, you have to admit that you're in a slump. Then you intentionally slow everything down. And you switch to a bait, any bait that you have absolute 100% confidence in, even if it's just to get one small bite. After that, it's all about fishing the moment, not dwelling on a slow morning.
Dalton Williams is the poster child for this mid-tournament reset. He admits he often has a slow start, trying to force a power fishing bite, but the real key to his Angler of the Year season was knowing when to say, okay, this isn't working, and having the guts to slow way down, switch to a finesse approach, and completely salvage his day.
And I mean, you have to fish until the absolute final second. Case in point, the cutoff is 2:30 p.m. One angler makes a last-ditch cast at 2:28. He hooks a fish at 2:29, lands it, and gets it submitted right before the deadline. That one single fish changed the entire outcome of the tournament. It is never, ever over until it's over.
Now, the final piece of this puzzle might just be the most surprising one. You think the sport is super solitary, right? Just you in a kayak. But the community around it is absolutely vital. It's this wild mix of fierce rivalry and real, genuine friendship. You can just hear it in the way they talk about each other. Here, one angler is trying to wrap his head around the frustrating genius of Darren Hemker. He's convinced Darren has some secret he doesn't even know he has. It's this perfect blend of respect, admiration, and just this burning desire to figure the guy out. And then, of course, you've got the trash talk. This is Dalton Williams, the Angler of the Year, just giving Darren Hemker, who's always in contention, a hard time. This constant back and forth, this good-natured roasting, that's basically the language of their friendship.
But underneath all that competition is this really deep level of support. I mean, during team events, they're on the phone with each other, sharing what's working. They'll give tips or even baits to someone who's struggling mid-tournament. And get this, when Susie Rolla lost her truck keys on some remote road after a long day, the entire club just stopped everything and searched with flashlights until those keys were found.
And honestly, nothing captures the spirit of this group better than this one story. After a grueling day on the water, what do?
They have an impromptu, super intense casting competition in the Airbnb parking lot. It's ridiculous, it's over the top, and it ends with a fishing reel literally exploding. That is the perfect snapshot, competitive to the absolute core, but never, ever forgetting to have fun with.
So after digging through all of this, the lures, the plans, the mindset, what's the big secret? What's the ultimate takeaway from the playbook of these pros?
It really boils down to these 4 things. First, master your tools, but be ready to switch it up. Second, always have a plan, but be willing to tear it up and adapt on the fly. Third, you've got to have a resilient mindset that lets you bounce back from a slump and fish hard to the very end. And finally, lean into the community. The friendly rivalries and the genuine support will just push you to be better. And hey, for anybody out there thinking about getting into this piece of advice from an angler named Nick is so important. Don't get freaked out by all the fancy, expensive kayaks you see. I mean, one guy got a 3rd-place finish fishing from a simple paddleboard. The gear doesn't make the angler. The fundamentals do.
And really, in the end, that's the answer. There is no secret lure. There's no magic spot. There's only preparation, there's persistence, and there's the belief that your very next cast, well, that could be the one that changes everything.